Thank you all for listening and watching my videos. Please subscribe and like my channel Master Coolitz. Hoping that you will not skip my ads. It's a big help for me by not skipping it. Thank you so much. Dragon Shadow. The Rise.
The gravity, 500 times heavier than normal and weighing like 50 to 60 mountains, vanished. Zane Martel felt as though he might fly away. His eyes fixed on the dragon crystal, which was the size of an adult human. He studied it carefully. The dragon crystal stood over 2 meters tall and 1 meter wide, towering over Zane Martel. Its transparency and crystal clear quality showed a deep orange hue, much higher in quality than any dragon crystal that had fallen from outside. As he got closer, the devouring dragon blood essence in Zane Martel's body reacted, indicating that the Dragon Clan's power within this crystal was 10 times that of other dragon crystals.
That's great. Then I'll gladly accept it.
With a flip of his hand, Zane Martel sent out a stream of vital energy, storing the nearly 500-kilogram dragon crystal into his storage ring. He looked around the core area but found nothing else precious, feeling a twinge of disappointment.
There's only one dragon crystal in this big pit. It's too little.
Maverick Frost and the others were furious, their faces contorting with anger. They glared at each other, teeth grinding audibly. The best dragon crystal had been taken by Zane Martel. How could he be so shameless? Maverick Frost trembled with rage, growling in a low voice.
Bastard, I'll give you 3 seconds to hand over the dragon crystal. Otherwise, I'll smash you to smithereens.
Smithereens? Go ahead and try then.
Zane Martel didn't care at all. He even hooked his finger to provoke Maverick Frost. Zane Martel had broken through the 9th stage of the advanced level, his strength surging greatly. Maverick Frost, however, was not in his best condition, struggling to maintain his position under the strong gravity. What could someone like Maverick Frost do to him? At that moment, Zane Martel waved his hand, and an icy cold vital energy burst out, forming a large hand in the air that grabbed Elora's body. He brought her to his side.
Elora, are you okay?
Of course I'm fine. Do I look like there's something wrong with me?
She spun around like a child. Seeing the two of them whispering sweet nothings and completely ignoring him, Maverick Frost was enraged.
You dare to ignore me? How dare you? You're courting death.
He was about to launch an attack when the ground suddenly began to shake violently. The earth and mountains trembled. Cracks as thick as a finger appeared on the ground, growing larger until they were the size of an arm. Suddenly, a ghostly hand emerged from the bottom of the pit, followed by the body of a dead spirit. A purple-black flame burned in the deep eye sockets of the corpse. It was as thin as firewood, seemingly a long-dead member of the Demon Clan. A tail hung behind it, and it wore old iron armor. The corpse looked up at the sky and roared. A vast and gloomy aura burst out. The dead spirit corpses multiplied rapidly. First 10, then 100, and soon thousands. Around the pit, the ground continued to crack, and a mighty dead spirit army emerged, exuding a soul-stirring aura. What awaited Zane Martel and the others next? The air was thick with uncertainty and impending danger. The dead spirit army. From the looks of it, all of them were at least in the 7th stage of the advanced level or higher. The sight was terrifying.
Oh my god. I've long heard that before the One Tree Blood prison, this place used to be a battlefield. Countless people died here.
The onlookers were surrounded by the dead spirit army, their faces pale with fear. Suddenly, with a long roar, tens of thousands of dead spirit soldiers rushed over and engaged the crowd in fierce combat.
Damn it! Attack!
Seeing this, many people charged forward to fight the dead spirit army. Flames exploded and thunder rumbled. Streaks of sword energy fell from the sky like a pear-flower storm, obliterating many dead spirit soldiers in a few moves.
Bah, they're not all that.
Yeah, that's it?
The warriors looked at the scattered corpses of the dead spirit army, underestimating their threat, but then their faces changed. The corpses began to disintegrate, emitting a stream of purple light. They floated into the air, reassembling themselves and coming back to life.
What's going on?
Don't tell me these dead spirits can't be killed. How can we fight them? They're already dead.
The expressions of the thieves changed drastically. The dead spirit soldiers were unaffected by the gravity and light in the big hole. They moved like demonic beasts, easily reaching Zane Martel and Maverick Frost. A sharp claw suddenly grabbed at Zane Martel, its purple light eerie and terrifying.
Get lost!
Zane Martel threw a punch, smashing the dead spirit into pieces, its bones scattering nearby. But soon, the purple flames and aura revived the skeleton.
No, these dead spirits have immortal bodies. Fighting them is pointless. It will only end in a stalemate.
Zane Martel in the core area was free from the constraints of the multicolored light and gravity, easily dealing with the dead spirits. But Maverick Frost in the pit was struggling. Maverick Frost had to bear the weight of gravity, 500 times heavier, like 70 or 80 mountains. He also had to fend off the relentless dead spirit soldiers. His strength was waning quickly. A few 7th stage advanced level dead spirit soldiers attacked Maverick Frost. Though he managed to fend them off, he was sweating profusely and panting heavily.
How dare you, stinky brat, pull me up?
Ha 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 ha, pull you up? What a joke. So you can kill me? Just stay there forever.
Zane Martel laughed coldly. Suddenly he picked up Elora and performed the Dark Wolf transformation, becoming tall and strong. Under the burst of vital energy, he transformed into an earth-shattering ray of light, shooting out of the crater. Although the gravity had increased greatly, his launch speed was impressive, landing near the edge of the pit safely. Only Maverick Frost was left standing in the pit. Furious and crazed, he cursed loudly.
Stinky brat, you better hope we don't meet again. I will definitely cut you into pieces.
As he spoke, he was buried underneath the dead spirit army, their numbers overwhelming. The ground continued to shake, and the dead spirit soldiers roared with relentless fury. The scene was chaotic, filled with tension and fear. What awaited Zane Martel and Elora now? The battle seemed far from over. The ground trembled as Zane Martel and Elora descended, landing amidst a swarm of the dead spirit army. These ghastly soldiers, with their sharp claws gleaming and hunger in their eyes, surged forward, aiming to devour the duo whole. Zane Martel swung his sword, releasing rows of sword energy that tore through the air, slicing the spirit soldiers to pieces. The soldiers' limbs scattered across the ground, yet within moments, a faint purple glow enveloped their dismembered bodies. The limbs floated back into place, reassembling their ghostly forms. The soldiers rose again, unyielding as they resumed their relentless pursuit.
This won't do. They're immortal. Ordinary attacks can't do anything to them.
Beside him, Elora was surrounded by a strong purple light. Her hair fluttered slightly as more than a dozen thumb-sized crystal pieces materialized around her. With a swift motion, she sent the crystals flying from her palm, striking the dead spirit soldiers and causing them to collapse instantly.
It's useless, Elora. The dead spirit soldiers can't die. We need to get out of here.
The ground below them cracked wider and wider, unleashing more than 10,000 spirit soldiers, each crawling out with a malevolent roar. Yet to Zane Martel's astonishment, the soldiers struck by Elora's crystals remained on the ground, showing no signs of revival.
Huh? Why aren't they coming back to life?
Oh yeah! I told you not to look down on me. Now you see how powerful I am.
Zane Martel pondered this mystery. Despite his stronger sword energy, only the soldiers hit by the crystals stayed down. The faint purple light surrounding both attacks seemed to be the common thread.
Oh, it must be the purple light.
He turned to Elora, curiosity burning in his eyes.
Elora, I've always been curious. What exactly is the power of nature that you've grasped? Why is it so effective against the dead spirit army?
Purple light? I don't know what my power of nature is either. I just know that I learned it naturally.
She blinked her bright eyes and continued almost nonchalantly.
I don't even need to comprehend it. I just feel like I've known it since childhood.
Zane Martel's scalp tingled with disbelief. No one was born with such innate power. If there was, they would be a genius among geniuses.
She can do it without even comprehending it?
He knew that compared to such a prodigy, he was nothing. What concerned him more was the effectiveness of her attacks against these dead spirits.
Could it be that Elora is hiding some sort of secret that is related to the dead spirits?
His thoughts were interrupted by another wave of dead spirit soldiers charging forward. Elora stepped forward, a purple light bursting from her body. She condensed a fist-sized crystal in front of her, her eyes narrowing with determination.
Wind spirit explosion!
The crystal exploded, scattering dozens of sharp purple-tinged fragments into the air. This time, the spirit soldiers struck by the crystals collapsed, their bodies slowly dissolving as if being squeezed by an unseen force, dissipating into nothingness. Zane Martel watched in awe and confusion, the purple light still glimmering in his mind. As more soldiers crumbled to dust, he realized they had discovered something truly unique about Elora's power. But what was this power, and why did it hold sway over the dead spirit army? With thousands more enemies emerging from the depths, they would need to unlock this secret fast. Could they decipher this enigma in time, or would they be overwhelmed by the undead horde? The answers lay in the battle to come. Zane Martel stood in stunned silence, his eyes wide as he gazed at the devastation before him. The ground 3 kilometers away erupted, spewing forth a seemingly endless horde of dead spirits. Hundreds of thousands of these monstrous beings crawled out, filling the air with a sense of hopelessness and despair.
I've never seen such an attack.
Explosions echoed as more dead spirits emerged, creating a scene of utter chaos and fear. People around them began to curse, their voices tinged with frustration and fear.
Damn it. The 10,000 dead spirits aren't strong, but they just keep coming back. It's a nightmare.
There are so many of them. How can we fight them all?
Desperation took hold as the crowd realized the futility of their efforts. They began to retreat, their faces pale with fear.
What are we even fighting for? Let's get out of here. Now I understand why the fiery furnace blood prison is a death trap.
Damn it, this is insane.
Seeing the mass exodus, Zane Martel grabbed Elora's hand and ran. The allure of treasures hidden in the blood prison palace wasn't worth risking their lives.
Come on, we need to move.
Even though Elora's unique power could kill these spirits, there were too many. How could she possibly take on hundreds of thousands? Suddenly, a massive hand burst from the ground, smashing dead soldiers aside like dolls. A giant head, dozens of meters long, emerged from the hole, followed by a towering skeleton. Its body was engulfed in eerie purple flames, exuding a fearsome aura of power.
Look, what's that?
The colossal dead spirit, over 100 meters tall, radiated the aura of a second-stage expert-level entity. Its bright white skeleton, wrapped in ghostly flames, seemed invincible. With a chilling cry, it began a reckless assault, smashing its own kind and demon clan members alike. Bodies merged with the soil as it pursued its destructive rampage.
Let's go!
Zane Martel scooped Elora into his arms. Using his wind power, he dashed towards the exit, leaving chaos behind them. He didn't stop, heading straight for the blood prison palace gates, leaving the retreating thieves in the dust. Soon, the sky turned blood red. A strange, eerie scarlet hue enveloped everything, casting an ominous silence over the scene. Apart from the occasional distant scream and tremor, the world seemed deathly quiet. Zane Martel transformed into an arc of light, shooting across the sky, far from the palace. A few moments later, he landed on a mountain of bones, 30 kilometers away, still holding Elora. In his arms, Elora's eyes were closed, her head resting against his chest. She seemed serene, like a kitten seeking warmth.
Enjoying yourself in my arms?
Elora's eyes fluttered open. She blinked, blushed, and began to wriggle free.
Put me down!
No way.
Zane Martel laughed, tightening his grip slightly. Her face turned crimson and she glared at him.
You rogue!
Suddenly, the ground shook violently. The blood prison palace began to crumble, splitting apart with a thunderous roar. Dust and smoke filled the air as the giant skeleton spirit rose from the ruins, its formidable presence casting a long shadow over the land. Zane Martel and Elora watched in horror. What new terror awaited them now? The mystery of the blood prison deepened, and their survival was far from certain. Would they escape the palace's deadly grip, or would the skeleton spirit claim them as its next victims? The answer lay in the ominous shadows that loomed ahead,